The sun sank below the horizon, casting eerie shadows across the endless expanse of the cornfield. My heart pounded as I stood at the edge, the rustling stalks towering over me like ancient sentinels, their leaves whispering secrets that chilled my spine. Beside me, my friend Sarah clutched a flashlight, her knuckles white against the blackness of the night. "We shouldn't be here," I whispered, my voice quivering like the rustling cornstalks themselves. Sarah's hazel eyes flickered with uncertainty, but she shrugged it off. "Come on, Alex. This is just a bit of fun. Seek and hide in a cornfield, remember? It's a Halloween tradition." I took a deep breath, trying to quell the unease that gnawed at me. We'd been wandering through the maze of maize for hours, trying to find our friends who had scattered in search of the perfect hiding spots. But the field seemed to shift and twist with a life of its own, leading us in circles. "All right, but let's find them and get out of here," I said, my tone more resolute than I felt. We plunged into the cornfield, the flashlight carving a narrow path through the dark. The rustling leaves echoed eerily, like whispers from unseen mouths. The occasional hoot of an owl added to the otherworldly atmosphere. After what felt like an eternity, we stumbled upon a small clearing. In the center, our friends' laughter rang out. They sat around a small campfire, its orange glow painting them in an otherworldly light. "Found you," Sarah called out with a relieved grin. The others laughed and beckoned us to join them. We sat by the fire, sharing stories and roasting marshmallows. The warmth and camaraderie were a welcome reprieve from the eerie isolation of the cornfield. As the night wore on, the jokes and laughter faded, replaced by a growing sense of unease. I felt eyes on me, the sensation of being watched intensifying with every passing moment. My gaze darted around the darkened cornfield, but there was nothing but rustling stalks. "Guys, did anyone else feel that?" I asked, my voice low. Sarah looked at me, her eyes filled with concern. "Feel what, Alex?" "I don't know, but I feel like we're not alone out here," I muttered. The others exchanged uneasy glances but dismissed my concerns. They joked about my overactive imagination and the eerie atmosphere of the cornfield. But the unease in my gut wouldn't fade. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was lurking just beyond the flickering reach of our campfire's glow. As we continued to talk and laugh, I noticed a strange pattern in the cornstalks. They appeared to form a narrow corridor leading deeper into the field. It was as if the corn itself was inviting us to explore further. "Look at that," I said, pointing to the corridor. "Doesn't it seem odd?" My friends followed my gaze and shrugged it off as a trick of the light, but Sarah's curiosity got the better of her. She stood up, flashlight in hand, and ventured toward the corridor. "Sarah, wait!" I called after her, but she disappeared into the narrow passage of rustling corn. Anxious and not wanting to be left alone, I followed. The cornstalks closed in around us, creating an eerie tunnel that seemed to stretch endlessly. The flashlight's beam danced over the swaying leaves, and I couldn't shake the feeling that the corridor was leading us deeper into a place we should not go. The whispers of the corn grew louder, indistinct voices that seemed to echo my name. It sent shivers down my spine, and I quickened my pace to catch up with Sarah, who had now vanished from sight. Panic gnawed at my insides. "Sarah! Where are you?" I shouted, my voice cracking with fear. No response. Just the relentless rustling of the corn. I stumbled upon a small clearing within the labyrinthine maze. In its center stood an ancient scarecrow, its tattered clothes flapping in the windless night. The moonlight revealed its face, a grotesque mask made from a hollowed-out pumpkin, grinning with a sinister malevolence. "Sarah, this isn't funny," I called out, tears welling in my eyes. "Where are you?" My friend's voice echoed from beyond the scarecrow, her words laden with unease. "Alex, come over here. You won't believe what I found." I hesitated, torn between fear and concern for Sarah. Gritting my teeth, I moved toward her voice. As I rounded the scarecrow, I gasped in horror. Sarah stood before a wall of cornstalks, and her flashlight illuminated a twisted, nightmarish sight. The cornstalks formed a crude circle, like an eerie shrine. In its center lay a grotesque effigy made of twine and bones, a macabre totem adorned with feathers and leaves. At its base, an array of eerie symbols had been etched into the earth, glowing with an eerie phosphorescence. "What is this?" I whispered, my voice trembling. Sarah's eyes widened with fear. "I don't know, but we need to get out of here, now." We turned to retreat, but the passage that had brought us here had vanished. The cornfield had closed in around us, forming an impenetrable wall. Panic surged through me as I realized the gravity of our situation. "We're trapped," I croaked, my throat dry. Sarah frantically pounded her fists against the wall of corn, her screams of frustration echoing through the night. But the cornfield remained unmoved, as if it had swallowed us whole. As the hours passed, the whispers in the cornfield grew louder, more malevolent. They taunted us with promises of escape, luring us deeper into the labyrinth. But each step we took only led to more darkness, more confusion. We stumbled upon strange symbols etched into the cornstalks, glowing faintly in the dark. Sarah recognized them from her research on folklore. They were ancient symbols associated with the harvest season, used to appease the spirits that dwelled in the fields. "This is a place of the dead," she whispered, her voice quivering. "We've trespassed into a realm we can't escape." I clung to her, the gravity of our situation sinking in. The cornfield had become an endless maze of death, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead had blurred. The night seemed to stretch on forever, and exhaustion began to take its toll. We found a small clearing and huddled together for warmth, using our backpacks as makeshift pillows. The whispers in the cornfield became a haunting lullaby, and despite our fear, sleep claimed us. I awoke to a rustling sound, my heart pounding. The sky had lightened slightly, but the cornfield remained an impenetrable labyrinth. Sarah was gone. Her backpack lay beside me, but there was no sign of her. "Sarah!" I called out, my voice quivering. There was no response. I felt a sense of dread gnawing at my insides, a feeling that I was truly alone in this cursed place. As I wandered through the cornfield, I stumbled upon a scene that will haunt my nightmares for the rest of my life. In a small clearing, I found a circle of cornstalks, the same eerie symbols etched into the earth. At its center, Sarah hung from the stalks, her lifeless eyes staring into the distance. She had become a gruesome sacrifice to the spirits of the cornfield. Tears streamed down my face as I fell to my knees, unable to comprehend the horror of what had transpired. The whispers in the cornfield had claimed her, just as they threatened to claim me. With a heavy heart, I continued to wander the labyrinth, my only hope to find an exit and escape the nightmarish maze. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if the spirits of the field were taunting me. The day passed in a surreal haze, and as night fell once again, I stumbled upon a familiar scarecrow. Its grinning pumpkin head leered at me, and I realized that this was the same spot where Sarah and I had become separated. Dread settled in my chest, and I felt the cornfield closing in on me. I was no longer a visitor, I had become a permanent resident in this cursed place. As I sat beside the scarecrow, defeated and broken, I heard a voice, soft and eerie, coming from the rows of cornstalks. "Welcome to the cornfield of whispers," it hissed, the voice seeming to come from all directions. "You sought, and now you shall hide forever." The cornfield seemed to come alive, its rustling leaves forming a cocoon around me. I was engulfed by the darkness, and the whispers grew louder, more menacing. I had sought and now had no choice but to hide, to become another lost soul in the cornfield of whispers, where the boundary between the living and the dead had forever blurred. And so, I remain, a prisoner in this eerie labyrinth, where the cornstalks whisper secrets of the damned and the spirits of the field claim those who dare to seek and hide in the darkness of the night. If you are a fan of strange, dark and mysterious delivered in story format and want to see more of our content, just punch the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop, as we upload 3, 4 and even 5 times every week. Also, we love hearing from you in the comment, so don't forget to join the community.